This video is an example of using remote desktop on a domain. It assumes a properly configured network and a properly configured domain controller with the computer actually joined to the domain. So you can see here my server, and you can see here my computer that's joined to the domain. Apparently Windows 10 has a new app for remote desktop. And you can see that here it's available from the Windows Store. We're not going to use that. Instead, we're going to use the old application. If you haven't used remote desktop on your computer, then this isn't going to come up. This is the old application. Now, before we get to that, we need to make sure that our server, we're using system properties here, and then we did remote settings, and then we allow remote connections to this computer, and then we say OK. This has already been done on this server. So one of our test questions was for the actual command to start remote desktop. And that's mstsc. So what I can do is I can type in mstsc. That's for Microsoft Terminal Services. And you can see it pop up here. And what I've chosen to do is to use, instead of the computer name, I use the IP address. I don't always know the computer name. Sometimes I rebuild my server and then I have another name, the randomly constructed digits. But because it's a domain controller and I keep the same IP addresses, then I can use the DNS, which is the same as the domain, 10.02.100. So when I connect, it asks me for the administrator login. I could also use another account if I wanted to. There's a little security thing here. If I had paid money to have this certificate validated by an outside certificate authority, we wouldn't get this message. But it's okay. Most systems have it. All we have to do is say, yes, we accept the certificate because we trust the computer and we know that it works. Also, by the way, you can see here, this is the actual computer name for the server. And you can see why I might not have wanted to type that in. So here we are. You see it logged out here. And then I've taken over the administrator session on the server. And you can see the system properties here and exactly what was displayed on the computer before. So now I can remotely administer the computer from I can remotely administer the server from this computer. As an example of that, I can go to Active Directory users and computers, and you can see that here. This is the utility that would allow us to remotely manage Active Directory, remotely manage the server, the users, and the computers. I think I'm in the process of changing the computer name over here, and I didn't do it, which is why it doesn't display here. But if it had come up, we'd be able to use Active Directory users and computers and have that pop up on the computer screen. You'll be able to do this. It's not important to this video because pretty much you can see I can open up Windows and go to the command prompt. I can start at the file manager and move files around and do stuff like that. There'll be videos that will talk about maintaining the server later, but you can see that remote desktop is working here. Now, when you're in remote desktop, you'll see this little tab that shows you the IP address. And I'm going to minimize that, and you can see that my desktop from my main computer is still here. So let me maximize that again. And you can see that I've taken over the whole screen, which is good when you're using the computer because you can see everything. When I log out of the computer, I could actually shut down the computer from here, or I can just disconnect from this session. And that's one of the things I'm going to do here is disconnect from the session. You'll see the remote session will be disconnected, and then my remote desktop session is ended. I just thought of something here. Let's go back. MS TSC let me log in again. And I just thought of a good way to demonstrate this. You can see the server here. I'm on the server, but I'm on my computer. I'm going to use the shutdown restart T0. So when I type that in, type it in correctly, you can see the server will shut down. And there it is, it's gone. So there's something that we can do on the server through remote desktop. And there you go, a demonstration. With our domain, we can log in through remote desktop, and we can do things like shutting down the server.